All right, everybody. Hope you had a good July the 4th weekend. I know I did. I was had a couple of extra days off included with that, and then my wife was gone, which was a needed break. And I say that not being, chastising because the wife was gone, but got some family coming in next weekend. And my family, they're coming in and they're the kind of people they're not going to judge if I've got a loose outlet or something in terms of like negatively on me. It's more like they'll be disappointed because just my family's the type that, if you got a light bulb that's out, you fix it. Very hardworking people, grindstone type thing. And we've sort of moved out of that phase to where we're all, I think now, white collar, for the most part with my close family and all doing pretty well. But we still kind of revert back to the days of, if you got a loose shingle, you go fix it. You don't wait on somebody to come do it. So been having to do a few things I was supposed to fix around the house that I hadn't fixed, so got that taken care of. But let's go ahead and get into it. We got start off with the Phat-plan. And so of course I'm a little winded because my back is killing me because I don't do physical labor anymore. And now here I am doing a bunch of physical labor. So we're getting into July, and there's really not much as far as the Phat-plan goes. I'll say this: we all know the market is extended. We all know the market is high, but let's go through it anyway. Take ourselves through those paces, just so that what is high, right? Low investigation into what is high. And I'm going to show you a chart that I forgot to put on here. I'm going to show it to you tonight. I did post it in the Discord, but then I forgot to include it in the Phat-plan, and I find it pretty interesting. So we know the jobs report came out to the positive side as far as the institutions were concerned. I just go by what price does and volume, and it went up. We know that the trade developments this weekend got extended again. So we know we had a little bump in the futures that seems to be related to that. But we've all been here. How many times have we sat right here on a Sunday night and the futures were terrible? They were gapped down and then they're up, and then sometimes they gap down and then they go further. And we've seen it where we have no idea. We know that futures are not indicative of how we're going to open or what's going to happen on the open. But basic materials and financial services, which I still don't understand, but financial services led the gains with basic materials, utilities, and communication services lagged a little bit there. So there's a little bit of lagging. Tech was just dominating for several weeks now. Market breadth improved. 10-year edged up to 430. Crude, I made a little good money there on USO last week. And then gold went up as well. I'm long silver right now. Momentum still remains bullish, of course. And of course, there's always potential volatility. So now, those things are going to happen. If you look at it right here, we're hitting all-time highs with the S&P, the NASDAQ, Dow Jones is right at it. Russell, no, it's only up less than 1% on the year, but it is, as everybody in FinTwit and God's creation knows, above the 200-day. So, you know what? That's a positive. And we all know that, by now, I think everybody has seen on FinTwit, that when the small caps join, that's usually a good sign. So, could we see a pullback? Yeah, but we could see a pullback any day. Economic events, I would call it a normal week. I hesitate to say quiet. There is some concern as to what the notes from the meeting come out from FOMC when the minutes come out, what could occur there. Skip through the rest of that. You can read that on your own. Market themes, let's zoom in a little bit on that. So had an interesting question for somebody in the Discord. Oh, maybe I can't quite do that. About the themes and and they don't release. Deepvue doesn't tell you exactly how they're coming up with the theme tracker, but we can make some inference as we infer as we track it. And I record every week how it ends. And from what I've seen, as I was explaining to them, so some of the growth tech seems to be weighted, so to speak. And I don't know this for a fact, but it appears to me from what I've been tracking, that it's sort of weighted, or there may be some subjective decisions going on with how they do that. I don't know. They won't release that, or they haven't yet. I've checked many times, different ways. But so, for example, the financials as a theme, if you look at, and I think I noted to them, if you look at XLF, It had a good week and it was moving up. But I think if you look at SoFi, for example, okay, that one's really doing good. And then if you go to CRE, the regional banks, right, they're moving up in price as well. But and I could be wrong. I'm not sold on the banks, and I'll show you why in the Phat-plan. But I could be completely wrong. But I don't know. But right now, what we have to say is, as Brian Chan would say, only price pays, and financials are looking good. Solar has been the most consistent outperformer. If we do see a pullback, to me, that's one of those areas where you're always like, what should I be looking for in a pullback? Find solar plays like Sedge or whatnot, run. If they're putting in relative strength, new highs before price, when we get that pullback that will eventually come, look to solar, look for those pullbacks to new highs before price, run a little scan, or I will, and I'll note them for you. Aerospace, it's been real strong on the year, but it didn't have the best week last week. We're starting to see some individual plays stand up. And then, of course, the miners and blockchain they're kicking butt. There's no doubt about it. Market carpet over 5-day review is green. And I think that's enough as far as the Phat-plan goes in general. I think we all know that the market is going up. All our sentiment signs are bullish. No way around it. If you're looking for contrarian signals, the current environment is not flashing strong warnings. There's a low VIX, and put call ratios even suggest keeping an eye out for any reversal catalyst. But right now it's strong, man. And then we had a news catalyst this weekend from Trump extending the tariff. So, I mean, that's all there is to it. Look at the breadth. I mean, there's nothing to even measure right here. It's above all key levels and even the small cap. I mean, look at the breadth expansion and look at the trend line we broke on the breadth. So that's just very nice. Small cap playing catch up. So there could be some areas in there you could jump on the train as it's leaving the station, and then monitor for divergences. If the price makes new highs, but we start to see a stalling or a diverging here, and I'll alert you if that does occur. But right now, obviously, momentum is breadth is moving with price, which is all signs of very good things. Strong bull. MMTW has just tapped the red line, the red area, and I do find that when it gets up in there, we will have a pullback. And just like back in 23, I can always remember Stock Talk Weekly laughing at everybody. He just kept holding and buying, frankly, and things kept going up, and everybody was calling for a pullback when we get up here. Usually about 4 to 5 days from there, you will see within 4 to 5 days. So we're right at it right now. So it doesn't mean tomorrow. It means within 4 to 5 days, you will see a pullback, in my opinion. People say you shouldn't predict and just follow a trend, and I understand that, but I'm just telling you what I see. SPY, I mean, just beautiful, busted into new highs. There's just no way around it. Volume looks very healthy. You can read all through that, but that's basically what it says. Volume looks really good and price is going up. And I mean, it's strong, man. There's no way around it. SPY with the Deepvue chart. I mean, just, putting some science behind it or the math behind it just to verify. I mean, we are all key moving averages, 10, 20, and 10, 21, and 50 EMA are moving up, and they're in uptrends, and they're all stacked ahead of each other, which is what you want to see. Remember back here, we noted that this is generally a pullback when we're in stage 2, and here we are in stage 2 right there. And there was your pullback, there was your pullback, and there's your blast off. And then once you get out of stage 2, then you turn red, you generally will see a pullback. And there's your warning signs, right? Yellow and red. And we don't have that right now. We have green and green. Weekly relative rotation graph. Just looking at it, XLY still not showing us that strong velocity move. I thought after last week we were going to get it. Some discretion actually did very well, so it's showing signs of potentially coming up. And then XLI is trying to make that counterclockwise turn, which is so powerful. We've talked about before. Instead of turning the usual rotation around it in a clockwise fashion, it's trying to go counter trend back up. So that could be a lot of dip buys. And in fact, Friday, several of them did very well. XLC, same thing. It's weak, but it is trying to make that move back up to leading. But you can see, just like we noted in price earlier, it's struggling. Here's my concern on XLF. You can see it. And once you get past 102, 101, it usually always ends up in the lagging quadrant. And again, that's just for me, that's like a divergence between price and the relative rotation graph. So I'm not seeing the price momentum on the relative rotation graph. Clearly, on the chart, it is going up. And the guy that Julius DeCapinar, which is why it says JDK for anybody that doesn't know, that's Julius DeCapinar. He's from I don't want to get it wrong, in Europe. I want to say Finland, but I could be completely wrong on that. I apologize if I am. But what he will always tell you, and he invented this, literally invented this, will tell you that you have to use the price, that you cannot just solely go off the relative rotation graph. So looking at price, what we see here, in my opinion, is a little bit of divergence from price. But again, as Brian Shannon says, only price pays. So there you go. You can read through the rest of that. Key ratios looking good. There's no way around it. Swing traders may find more opportunities in discretionary technology and biotech. Genomics, basically, those are currently leading. And then as we look for the offensive versus defensive, I mean, both the equal weight and XLY are just, they're doing good. There's no way around it. Now, we'll say, we do have some resistance here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little pause, but honestly, it looks like it's pushing through that key level on the equal weight as well, which is found in our momentum charts that we looked at earlier. So it's, risk on, and there's no way around it. Now, are we extended? Yes. And so that is something you need to take into an account. Growth versus SPY. So XLK just blasting off. Here's XLC, just kind of consolidating here, moving sideways a little bit. Now remember, Netflix, when you go back all the way to here, Netflix came and powered out. Meta powered out. When you go back to those April lows, Meta and Netflix were the two strongest ones. So XLC, again, look at the chart. XLK was going down. Look at the divergence here. And XLC was going up. So it's resting at this point. XLK is just coming out the cannon. And then discretionary, frankly, Amazon, Tesla, right, have been lagging in terms of their price versus the S&P 500. Now, other stocks. Amazon's actually doing fine. It's just not moving as fast. And that's generally what it does. So value, no way around it, man. I mean, look at the financials. We'll see how it plays out. It could say it's breaking the trend line here, and that it's about to break out. So, maybe I just need to be a little patient and follow the price, stop having a bias here. XLI, running into a little bit of resistance, but still looks strong. And then materials looks like it's trying to make a little breakout here. Try to make a move. We need to get through this area right here. We need to see how it does early next week. But materials could be making a move right here. You see these previous lower highs. And if we can set in a new higher high right here, we may be seeing a trend change on the materials. Energy looking bad. Defensives, XLU going down, XLP going down, and XLRE going down. And honestly, that's what you want to see if you're wanting to buy the growth tech stuff. So they are lagging. And then focus on the stocks, not the macro. I think it's just self-reflection over July the 4th. I got too heavy into the macro, and I'm actually considering dropping stock charts because I think I hang around too much on there looking at things when I need to be focused on the charts more. I may jump on something else, maybe another platform. All right, let's see here. Let's go to our relative rotation graph. Let's take a look at our ETFs and see how they're doing. Starting off with ARC, still looking good. I mean, could we be seeing signs of rolling over? Potentially, I suppose. But right now, I mean, those things are leading. They're in general gaining relative strength and slightly gaining price. I mean, they were a little bit flat on the week. It wasn't their best week in terms of price. So anybody knew price is going up, relative strength is going to the right. And so you can see the velocity increasing and moving hard to the right. So, a little breather wouldn't be underappreciated by the ARC collective. And I would assume we could look for dip buys in that situation That's usually what you see here in this type of a look. When they're this far over into leading, they take a little breather and then they counterclockwise turn back up. Not all of them will. We're going to lose one or two of them, and the other 3 or 4 maybe will take off. Look at RRG, genomics. Look at that nice move. It's not a, if you zoom in real good here, you can see it's not a real good velocity, but it is nice that it's at that 45-degree angle. The rest of these guys looking bad. No way around it. So let's see so ARC has just been killing it. XBI weak. Yeah, that's weak. There's no way around it. And like I tell you all the time, that's a 50 EMA type of level. Doesn't look good. iDNA, genomics for iDNA not looking good. IBB. I mean, that's just no way around it. These guys are moving away from the 45. So I'm a little curious to see how that plays out. ARC-G looking a lot better. So I don't know. I mean, Kathy, her people nailed the stocks that they're holding are just way outperforming other genomic ETFs at this time. No doubt about it. Technology, grab a sip of wine here. So on the technology stocks, so let's go ahead and flip through these. SMH, nice velocity, a little flat on the price, but I mean, but looking healthy. Again, potential dip buys coming in. IGV dip buy all the way. Let's check IGV on the chart. See if maybe we're getting a little low volume pullback potentially. Nope, IGV blasted off. I wouldn't surprise me if we see a low volume pullback. This was a pretty decent one right here. 1, 2, 3 down right there. Look, the volume pulls back. And again, when they're super strong, IGV, remember, as far as the tech goes, IGV was the first ETF to come out the gate. If you follow us every week, you've seen that we watched IGV track across, and it did pull back here and into the end of the week and then busted loose. So we would have needed one more day on that dip buy, but you could see how that plays out, that turn and then dip buy back up, counter trend up, counterclockwise move up. Hack. Still not seeing it from the cybersecurity, but they had good days on Friday with D-Dog getting added onto the S&P 500. Boo for the hood lovers. ONLN, online retail, again, looking pullbackish, right? You see those roll, they're kind of not rolling over. They're coming in for a dip buy in these leading areas. So all these guys, cyber included right here, coming into the weakening area, potential dip buy. iDrive, not looking good, heading into the lagging quadrant. Cloud, a little weak on the velocity right there. Drive, looking good. You look at the top holdings in Drive, probably your better options as far as the autonomous vehicle. And then Robo, decent, looking strong. They're wanting to cross into the leading. So again, top holdings in Robo, top holdings in Drive. Need to write those down. And ARC-G. So ARC-G, Drive, DRIV, and Robo. All right, let's go to energy and commodities. We'll just take a look at these overall. And as you can see, silver, want to see that dip turn. Now, notice how the ratio kind of changed. So it hadn't hit at 102 yet. So I'm looking for this dip buy and turn back up. We'd like to see gold obviously support it. XOP, decent move right there. Look at OIH fixing to cross into improving. So oil hasn't been doing so hot, but I tell you what, Van Ector Oil Services, the oil services plays seem to be the way to go right here. Now remember, again, this is like a 50 EMA, so a little bit of a barrier right there, but looks pretty firm right there. Like I'm always telling you, usually it fails once or twice before it gets there. Now, oh, I remember this one. Yeah, OIH made it all the way into improving, and it's not often that they'll come back down in there, but it sure did. It came back down in and lagged the other guys. If you look back right here, yeah, watch. So these guys right here, so like XOP, XLE, continued right through there. Thought they did. Yeah. No, they didn't. They separated. That's silver. That's all. Okay, that's silver. So yeah, they all pulled back as a group as they should. So XOP trying to lead up. I don't know. Keep eyes XOP. XOP continues into leading. I would look for OIH to follow. You know, they're birds of a feather, definitely right there. All right, let's check financials. All right, let's see what we got here. So let's flip through these and kind of take a good look at financials because I'm trying to get rid of my bias on that. Let's see what we got here. Pave, little dip by. So XLF pushing away. ITB, home construction, home builders. Oh, look at XHB. So a lot of talk about the interest rates and whether or not home builders could be in. We'll see. We tracked this one. We watched this one move all the way back up into the improving before we got any notification of interest rate potentially changing. So that one's interesting. So it's a little bit of a could easily flip back into improving. XLRE looking terrible. Materials not looking good either, actually. IAT, regional banks looking pretty strong there, I gotta say. No doubt about it. CRE looking pretty strong there. Just don't know why XLF not doing too hot. Let's go ahead and click down in on that one. I've done that for a little while. So I'm on custom. Okay. XLF. Well, let's see what we got here. Let's see who's doing good. So PayPal. Okay. And you know, that kind of makes sense. That's my dog, guys. Don't worry about that. She's barking at the door. My wife will get it. Let's check these guys that are looking good right here. So KKR, specialty finance. So that's basically what I was telling the Discord member earlier today. PNC. I'll tell you, somebody general, BlackRock, PGI. I mean, look at BlackRock increasing velocity right there. No doubt about it. Let's flip through these guys. Let's see what we got here in the banking. Then we'll get to setups. Let's check it out. Really, I'm interested in these ones with the larger velocity, of course, Goldman Sachs. So our large caps, we see them pushing in there. Bank of America pushing into the leading quadrant on increased velocity. Capital One, interesting there that it had a great week 2 weeks ago, good velocity increase, but looks like it's taking a little dip. So I could see Capital, I could see them. Where's JP Morgan? Here it is. Yeah, I could see them taking a little dip by right there. A dip at you know best, but if you look at XLF heading into the lagging quadrant, I could see them just taking a deep dip. I really think it's more of these guys in the blue. Let's get to them. Can't make it. I wish there was a way to kind of set it by color. Tail. Here we go. All right, now we can see them. All right, here we go. Not bad. All right, let's see what we got here. So Moody's, specialty finance, okay. BlackRock, Met, AMP, Ameriprise. Yeah, these guys are all increasing velocity. See those? Look at your velocity right here. We're getting increase in velocity, raging towards the money angle. Look at TFC. That's a regional bank, TFC. PNC regional. Who's that? ITB. I'm not familiar. Fifth Third Bancorp. That's the best looking one. That thing is exploding. PayPal, a good one to look at. Let's check PayPal. So if these guys pop up, you know, these type of ones, oh, coming out a little basin here, busting above this to 200 EMA. Interesting. Good volume pattern showing. Wow. So PayPal's got plenty of room here. Now, what we'd like to see is a pullback to 1020, of course. Would be nice, a little pullback. and then get in. And, PayPal's been working with the crypto stuff, trying to add. So I think what we're looking at is plays related to the crypto are kind of moving finance, in my opinion. I'm going to have to look into that more before I make that statement. All right, let's finish up and get the setups. Consumer discretionary. So you can see here, we got struggle. So IBLC is doing the best, and that's blockchain, of course. Let's just flip through them. IBIT, a little dip by. You want to see that counter trend, counterclockwise turn. These guys not doing so hot. Jets still with the increase in velocity. TAN, of course, with solars looking great. And XRT, retail ETFs. I'm going to write down XRT. And then I'm going to write down XLF. And I'm going to go back through and find those other ones and kind of keep an eye out for any of those to show up on a scan, anything related to them to show up on my setups for the week. And then we got, that's it. All right, let's get the setups. So we're changing up. We're going with the Deepvue setups. It's been coming, I've been working with it, and I think it's going to work out better for you guys too, because you'll be able to see doing it this way why I like them from the edge. As I've consistently told people, I'm an edge-based trader, so I look for the actual edge to form, which is not in style right now. I look for the edge to form through upside reversals, bullish reversals, oops reversals, key reversals, mini coils, RMV, relative measured volatility, price getting tight, inside days, power of three, and the launch pad. And what I do is I'm mainly focused on these guys. And then these add conviction. So it ends up, so basically, if it's in an upside reversal or any kind of a reversal pattern, so these reversals, and they're in one of these guys, then that's double, stuffed Oreo. And that's what I want. And then sometimes you'll get an upside reversal in a coil or RMV or both of those, which can be the same thing in that template. But basically what I'm saying is you get an upside reversal in a tight area, one of these three guys. So upside reversal in a tight area with a power of three or a launch pad, which to me is almost the same thing. I mean, you get into semantics, but basically moving averages getting tight. So this is moving averages getting tight, and this is price getting tight, and this is reversals. And that's the basis of everything I do. And then you look for it off of power earnings gaps or areas of relative strength in basing. That's pretty much what I do. Oh, and then any breakout, and then that first pullback into that 10-20 cloud. So first touch of the 10 EMA, you'll hear me saying off any explosion. It's all explosion, consolidation, explosion. And that first touch of the 10 EMA goes basically 5-day, 10-day, 20-day, 50-day. Every single time that happens. And then if you can find one with a rising ER VWAP in those areas, then you're good. And that's how I trade. That's everything basically as to what I do. My scans, what I do, and I've now reduced it down just so you can kind of see what we got here. Oh, I go on my screener to show you my scans. So my scans, what I end up with is a fat pullback with what I call no limit. And so that's a fat pullback without any parameters like relative strength, amount of volume accumulated, any of those type of indicators. And then on a fat pullback, on the 10-21 EMA fat pullback, what you're seeing here is high quality stocks that do have things like relative strength and those parameters. And then they're in one of those edges that I just showed you before, upside reversals, tight areas, moving averages areas. So that's what I have. And then I added in a loose basket for you. These are Stock Talk Insiders plays that are not mine that I am looking at. So it's a loose basket because it's not every one of their plays. It's just the ones that I'm interested in or that I feel like have potential that I want to be involved in. I'm not judging what they're picking. I'm just judging the technicals for my entry off of their plays. So that's what we're looking at right here. So we'll flip through first. These guys, these are the 10 EMA fat pullbacks, no limit. And what I'm going to do is, so in this case, things like earnings, I'm not real concerned about, right? I'm simply looking to see if it's in a pullback, because these can be from a thematic entry standpoint. So these could be the nuclear theme. So these that are on this screen don't necessarily meet my fat pullback standard of relative strength or volume accumulation or earnings and sales, that sort of a thing. But they could be in a theme. And so, for example, or momentum commodities. So that's why you see WPM up here. So WPM, and as you can see, it's got relatively tight measured RMV. You want it underneath 15. You really want it under 10, and what you really want is it under 5 on this number is what you're looking at. And it is a key reversal, an oops reversal, a bullish reversal, and an upside reversal. So you can Google those things. Just Google it and type in Deepvue bullish reversal and explain a bullish, but it's kind of like an oops reversal. It's very powerful compared to an upside reversal. It's a very strong upside reversal is what it is. So WPM is you can think of it like a bullish outside bar as well, I guess is another way to look at it. So WPM, what we look for here is if gold is continuing to show strength, then that would be a potential entry. All of these are through the high of the day on intraday volume. Intraday volume could be 5, 10, or 15 minute. I use 12-minute volume, and I find that's a nice happy medium for me. So here we go. WPM, bullish reversal. You can see it's tight, and I've also set my parameters to where we're tight to the 10-20 cloud. I don't want anything extended, that sort of a deal. RGLD, also we're looking for low volume pullback, which you can see here. So as far as gold goes, I've got 3 in setups, and OPFI, I forgot. So this is where I get a little frustrated with them because, oh, wait a minute. That's why I left the columns. So I got a little confused. It's my first night doing it with you guys. Okay, so finance. So that's kind of what we were talking about. We were looking for. We'll see what OPFI is. Asset management. This is why I left this in here. So here we go. All right. So now y'all can see everything that I'm seeing, and you can see what we're looking at. So asset management, so finance. And so these 3 are for our gold plays. If gold wants to show strength tomorrow, continued strength, we look for those. Look at that beautiful hammer bar right here. We got a nice hammer, nice upside reversal, tight to the moving averages. Volume, not quite drying up. Volume, not the prettiest. I mean, there is some distribution in there. You have to excuse me. I'm going to flip back and forth a little bit while I'm still getting used to Deepvue. So we got a little distribution in here, and I think this is probably a little distribution in here as well on there, but we are in a nice coil. So we have a mini coil, and so here's that double stuffed Oreo. We've got the bullish reversals, and we've got the mini coil. So we're in a nice tight area right here. So through that high of the day, if you don't know what a coil is, where's my drawing at? There we go. And it takes me a little more. Still not there yet. Rectangle. So there's your coil right there. So you can see where we have a coil, we have a reversal, and we're tight to the moving averages. So through that high of the day on intraday volume. All right, we'll pick our pace up now. I think you got the idea. BIT, another BlackRock multi-sector income. So financial services. That asset management, notice that 2 of the subgroups are showing up under financials. Let's see if we got other financial plays. Got ICE, financial exchange, not many. Diversified finance and EQH. Interesting. So we got 2 of these asset management setting up. bit is, now you see where my parameters, so that one too far off of it. YMM, application software. Nice bullish reversal bar right there, but no. WPM, I'm right down WPM, RG, LD, EGO. It's my gold plays. And then OpFi looked like a nice setup. And we know, so this we're interested in because financials are trying to break out, trying to make a move. It's a theme on the theme tracker. HCSG. No, don't like that volume. CHKP. No volume. BNRX, no. INSM, yes, sir. So I don't like this, but I do like this nice tight area right here. We've got relative measured volatility of 1. What about healthcare? I mean, that's pretty good volume, isn't it? We'll get RMV of 0. We've got to put that one down. BNRX and INSM. I'll tell you what you're going to like is UEC, uranium, part of that nuclear theme. But anyway, INSM, nice and tight right here. Let's do that high of the day. Look at the gap up. Yeah, 20% gap up. And then now we've pulled back. This is exactly what I was talking about. So here's your power earnings gap up. It's a decent close, close was in the highs up in the upper half. Decent close. What another bullish sign is that the second day it went straight through that pivot point right there, that key level right here, this high of the day. I mean, just blew right through it. So this area was support, this close of the day. So this is a very bullish sign. And then now we're pulling back. And you can look up and see what happened on this date. That's the nice thing about perplexity and everything. Let's do that right here while we're looking at it. This kind of the idea I want you to see now. Let's type this in, INSM. And what day was this? June 27th. Why did price drop June 20? No, got my microphone in the way. All right, and I'll just bring it over here just to show you for anybody that doesn't mess around with perplexity or any of that stuff, and you just type that in right there. Normally works pretty good for me. Notable decline in price, trend of weakness over several days. Mixed financial reports. Latest financial report showed revenue exceeded expectations, fell short of analyst projections. Insider selling. There had been notable insider selling the weeks prior. Analyst sentiment, despite the drop, may remain bullish. In summary, primarily due to a combination of earnings, missed regulatory uncertainty, and volatility from index rebalancing, all amplified by high trading volume and shifting institutional flows. So it kind of gives you now that there's not a short report or anything on it. And so you can see where price is starting to stabilize and it's now very tight and we have low volume. So there's not as much selling taking place and it got pushed up and that's why it's an upside reversal. So through that high of the day on increased volume, yeah, INSM. UEC, love it. Love the way it looks. Obviously the huge volume and then the low volume pullback right here. You can see the orange low volume and I mean, holding that 20, look at it getting bought up, just snatched up right off that 20. EMA right there looks really good through the high of the day. UEC. Let's check UUU while we're here. UUUU. All right, a little bit extended for us right now, but look at the volume. So it would make sense that UEC could follow that. Let's check the ETF. The URNM. Oh yeah, looks just like some spot funds trust. Looks just like kind of like UEC, right? Even better tightness right here, right? Yeah, we'll look at that 0. Yeah, so URNM, good looking ETF right there. I mean, that looks great. Just pop right off that 10 EMA. Look how it's holding off that 10. Looks really good. Uh-oh. How do I go back to my I am on it, but if I click see now I'm not on it. Oh, there we go. Okay. And then what is up with that? There we go. All right, next TXNM. Let's push through some of these. No, let's see all that distribution volume. No dash. 10 a coil. It's got tight RMV. It's a little bit off the 10 for me. I like to see these coils. I've noted this many times. I like to see them. See, I don't have my favorites anymore. I can put my X, but I want to see them right off that 10. And this one's floating a little bit off of it. I'd like to see it pull back in a little more. VMC extended, AMD. Yes, AMD. So we got a nice little coil right there. It's getting pretty tight. We don't have a reversal, so it would be through that high of the day. Basically, you could draw a line through all three of them. Right there. So through that high of the day, on intraday volume, look at the volume drying up. Yeah, it's nice and tight. You see how you can be in a launch pad, but not be, none of those guys were of interest. Citri. So AMD, write that one down. Little semiconductor play. It's got a name behind it. I think everybody's getting excited about it for real now. CTRI, not for me, too much distribution in there. And then these guys are starting to push up. So I'm not even going to look at these guys because they're pushing ahead on the RMV, and I don't like those plays. Here's another gold play, and here's another gold play, just something of note. I do like NRG, but it's actually in my fat setup. I'll write it down though now. NRG looks good. Guess we can push through them. Excuse me. AVPT. So NRG is good. Roblox. Let's go back and check them all. Might as well, because we got PLTR on there, which that one's in my setup as well, but we'll flip through them. TKO, no. PLTR, yes. I've already know that was in my fat setup. And then we'll get to that one. eBay, not for me. I don't like that erratic price movement. STOK, Stoke Therapeutics. I don't like the bios, but that one is nice and tight. NRG, we already talked about. Yes, we're going to look at it in a minute. AVPT, no. Roblox. CEG. I mean, a lot of the nuclear plays have that distribution volume in there, but they're hanging in there. I'm going to hold off on that one. I like LEU better. I know it's on my list. Snow. I mean, it's a little bit off the 10 for me. Not much, but a little bit. I'd rather wait for it to tighten up. AGX, no. PWXT, no. INTU. See, now we're getting our RMVs just flying out of there. Well, let's check cyber and Rubik. See, we got two system cybersecurity. So let's check. Oh, let's go back and check space. Let me stop skipping ahead. How about that? AGX, maybe, but I'm gonna say no. BWXT, no. INTU, wanted to pull back more. The entry was yesterday. ICE, no. Cyber. Like, I'd love to say yes on this one, but I don't like these wide volatility bars. It's just not for me with the ups and downs. Rubric. Now Rubric's a little special because we know that it's newer and it was one hell of a play, and it's got a name behind it, a little bit of a name. Gosh. Can't remember how to put the VWAP on. I'm not going to do it right now. So Rubric. Yeah, I'm gonna write Rubric down. Because of the name, it's worth a watch there. AVO, no. Flute, no. Extended. FTK, no. No. SKBL, I like this one. Beautiful volume. Pulling back nice and tight. You can see it's RMV of 0. So now we're into the straight RMV plays. So SKBL. Live, no. No. Coal play, NXE. I think with the coal talk from Trump, I think this one's worth putting on there. NXE. No. Extended. GUR is one that can really move, but for me, it's not in the right kind of setup there to play it. Tiger, no. CF, no. Futu. Yeah, I mean, there's some volume coming in there. I wanted to look at it last time. It's getting a little tight. Yep, two. All right, and then HSB, no. AU, no. All right, now we're to 6 on the RMV, so I'm gonna stop right there. All right, now let's check our 21 EMA no limit. Now, a lot of these are gonna repeat, kind of like our other screens. So we're just gonna look through here. We looked at IMAX, UEC. We didn't look at USAU. It's another gold play. We got enough on the gold plays, and that one's got that weird volume on it. Vulcan Materials Company, a little bit extended right there. Citry we looked at, GFI, AU. We didn't look at EXAS. That's a bio. No. PLTR we already looked at. Stoke we already looked at. Docs, no. eBay we already looked at. We did not write it down. Nope. Let's see here. Yeah, we already looked at those. RBA. No. Faro. That's weird. Oh, we got Archer showed up. Oh, off the 50. RMV's tight. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm always write it down when it shows up like that. ACHR, and of course that puts the other guys on watch too with the drone stuff. So FTK is one that I've played in the past. It is tight. So if I see some movement and energy, even though we got the big volume here, I'm very interested in this one off of this move. I got in it back here, made some good money. I'm gonna have to write that one down. FTK. Getting a little heavy on the numbers right here. Got to get a little more particular. GR we looked at, Liv we looked at, EQH we looked at, SCH. Don't remember Schwab. It's a little extended. It's been moving steady. HSBC. No. SGMO. We didn't look at that. We didn't look at ACI. So extended and SGMO. Too far off. Lemonade. Maybe. It's a little tight. It's a 7. It's not in a reversal. Maybe. I think that's worth writing down. LMND. Every time that thing moves, I mean, it can really go. Billy. It's a nice low volume pullback. I'm gonna hold off. I mean, these are getting so see, we're back, getting a little bit out of the RMV range for me. So that's it on those. All right. So now we've got let me show you on the Stock Talk Insiders loose basket. We don't have any. They're just not in setups. And here's why. Because they're doing so well. Price is smoking hot. And so they're not pulling back to the 10 or the 21 EMA. So tonight we have no Stock Talk Insider Discord loose basket plays, which is a little disappointing since it's the first night we've done that. I mean, we looked through them in the past, but we haven't designated as we're going to start doing that. And it's a little disappointing because they're doing so well, which is great for everybody. All right, so these are the fat pullbacks. So these are definitely on the list. And what we have here is INSM. So several of these are going to actually repeat that we've already written down. And INSM is one of them. So we got INSM, we got UEC, we already wrote down, and these are meeting my fundamentals and meeting my technicals. So these are fundo technical plays, and they look really good. UEC, we already wrote that one down. PLTR, same thing. I think it's PLTR. So we got to take a look at it here. It's trying to reclaim that 20 EMA, and it's worthy of a watch to keep it on note. NRG, we already wrote it down. Looks good. Roblox, I don't know. I don't care for it right here. BMPC, CEG, same thing. I could be completely wrong, but all that distribution volume. Snow's a little high. AGX, we already talked about. So these guys are all no's. The only one on here is LEU. NXE was the coal play. Oh, we talked about that. We wrote that one down. And then LEU, liking that one a lot right there. So it looks ready again. I mean, it's the RMV is only 8. It's not below 5, but look at the low volume right there in price holding. I mean, it makes sense through that high of the day right there. Look at that line holding right there. It makes sense through that line on intraday volume. MIR. So if you're not in a space play right now, this is probably the best setup. Good healthy volume, nice pullback to the 20 EMA, although it is not below 5 on the RMV, so I'm not going to play it. And then SPRY, a little bit of a low volume pullback there. All right, last look through here will be our 21 EMA pullback, and of course, most of these are going to repeat, and that's what we want. It means it's nice and tight, and both moving averages are tight. So that tells you that when you're seeing them all repeat, the 10 and 20 cloud is very tight, and it's meeting both parameters. So ACHR made it from a fundamental standpoint as well. NXE, MIR. So MIR, because it's on both of them, I'm gonna have to look at this one. I'm gonna add on a space play. All right, so that's pretty much it as far as the setups for tomorrow. I'm gonna read them to you. In fact, what I'll do is that way you can see the setup. What I'll do is I'll click right here. So now when I type it in, it should just show it individually. So AMD, there you go. So AMD, you can see now what sector it is, and you can see what setup it is. So upside reversal, bullish reversal, oops reversal, key reversal bar, mini coil, RMV, inside day, power 3, launch pad, and then the sub industry that it's in. And when I type in each one now, at the end of the night like this, you'll be able to see the setup, you'll be able to see what it's in. And that's why I just showed you what it was in case you're having trouble reading, of course, the abbreviated sectors, because we have to squeeze it down for the price chart. So here we go. Let's go through them. AMD, NRG, PLTR, RBRK, SKBL, NXE, FUTU, ACHR, FTX, I think I said that one wrong. Not sure which one what ticker that was supposed to be. WPM, RGLD, EGO, OPFI. Looks good. That one looks really good. And we know the financials are moving, even though I'm in disagreement with it. I'm going to play that one. I guarantee you it goes through the high of the day on intraday volume. VNRX. That's good, healthy volume right there. Look at that relative measured volatility at 0. Got upside reversal, oops reversal. INSM looks good. INSM looks very nice, nice and tight. Double upside reversals, love it. UEC looks great. URNM ETF looks good. LMND, INSM, LEU, MIR. So you know right now, as you look through it like that, that second time, INSM looks great. LEU looks great. Any of the gold plays, depending on the momentum from the gold. OPFI looks amazing. VNRX looks good. INSM, oh, we already looked at it. UEC, the uranium play. Who else? ACHR and FUTU didn't look bad either. I mean, SKBL looked good. So those right there, that's pretty much it, because those are the ones that, you know, I could just name off the top of my head. Like PLTR, it's a big name and it could go. So I'm definitely watching it. AMD again has a name behind it, so I got to kind of add that on there. And then NRG. So I mean, AMD, NRG, PLTR, SKBL, FUTU, Archer, UEC, OPFI, LEU, INSM, and the gold plays depending on how gold performs. Like that, that's it right there. And that's a good tight list. Upside reversals, tight areas, launch pads. I mean, those are good areas right there. All for you to look at. You can review that tonight and be ready to go. Intraday volume through the high tomorrow. Appreciate everybody for coming out tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording at this time. Thank you for coming out, and good luck tomorrow.